Hey, it's Matt Moscona. You found it. It's AFR LSU, your home for daily content on your favorite team, Fighting Tigers of LSU. And we're proud to be presented by BetUS, where this football season, get a 150% bonus on your first deposit and a 125% bonus on your next two deposits up to $2,000. Be sure to use the promo code YouTube150. Now, enjoy the video. All right, every Tuesday we visit with Shea Dixon on 3, the Bengal Tiger. No rest for the weary. Last week was the early signing period that rolls right into the transfer portal and never really stops. Shea, how are you, man?
I'm doing well. How are you, Matt?
I'm doing good. Thanks, man. All right, let's start with post-signing day, now into the portal window. What do you think LSU has identified, or what do you know LSU has identified as the biggest positions of need, like the must-addressed in this portal window?
Yeah, now that you said signing day and portal, I don't know why I sounded so chippery right there. I'm doing great. I'm tired, but this is the new era. So, yeah, the stretch, we have about 5 days there, Matt, in between Wednesday to Sunday, and then the portal opens. So, no rest for the weary with these college coaches on the recruiting front, both recruiting your team, recruiting through high school, and then obviously now the portal. When I think biggest needs, I really think all over the field. Now, I still know we have not heard anything public from Garrett Nussmeier. I have always thought that he was going to return and would sort of operate under that presumption until further notice. So, I wouldn't be out here thinking the quarterback right now, as you see a lot of big names kind of floating around with other colleges. Wide receiver, though, is one that jumps out. And I think when you lose three of your top four pass catchers and then, guys, backups like Shelton Sampson and then have entered the portal, that becomes a big position of need. We'll see what Emory Jones does, but I think O-line is obvious that addressing that. Tight end as well, which you've already seen them setting up visits for. And then on defense, it's almost like pick your poison for me at anywhere but linebacker. I almost feel like they're okay there, and that the focus is on some safeties that have experience, a corner that's got experience, and certainly you'll take any D linemen or edge rushers that are out there, given it's such a premium position and everybody's after them.
So you mentioned corner. One player that we know is going to be making a visit is Zechariah Poser from Jacksonville State. What can you tell us about him and the interest there and how all that sort of came together?
Yeah, they kind of like him at safety as a guy who this past year playing, I guess now in with Conference USA, but they won a title with Rich Rod over there at Jacksonville State, and he had a phenomenal year. So there was buzz that he was going to come out and that interest was going to be there immediately from a number of teams, and certainly LSU was one of them. And then he put out that a kind of a short list of schools he was going to check out. I think mainly here you're going to watch LSU and then Florida. He's from the Sunshine State. He's got some connections to the Gators with guys he went to high school with and all that. But definitely as guys enter the portal, I would say so far, Poser at safety is the biggest name that you can attach to LSU in terms of them really going after him.
We'll get right back to the video, but want to remind you again about our great partner this football season here on AFR LSU. It's BetUS. So right now, you can get a 150% bonus on your first deposit, 125% on your next two deposits, up to $2,000. Make sure you use that promo code YouTube150. No LSU game this week, and I don't want to bet on LSU Baylor just yet. Got to see about opt-out. So how about we make a futures bet for the college football playoff? Before the season started, I said I thought we'd see Texas and Georgia 3 times this year. Regular season, SEC championship, then again in the college football playoff. And if you look at the bracket, there's a really good chance Georgia's going to walk into the championship game, and Texas got a favorable draw as well. I think we're going to see Texas-Georgia for the national championship in Atlanta. So if you want to bet on it, it's this easy. You go to the homepage there at BetUS, you hit the football drop-down, we'll hit the college football tab. Here at the top, you'll see where it says NCAA Championship. So now here's your odds for every team to win the national championship. I know Georgia's beaten them twice. They'll likely be without Carson Beck, so it means Gunnar Stockton would have to get it done. But I like the Bulldogs at plus 400. Maybe if you want to throw a sprinkle on both, you could do Georgia and Texas individual bets, maybe 25 on each with good odds there. We could see how it goes. So $25 on Georgia, $25 on Texas. Either way, it'd be profitable if one of them hits. So we'll go ahead and place those bets, and we'll see how it all plays out. You can place your bet as well right now at BetUS. Remember, use the promo code YouTube150 and get 150% bonus on your first deposit, 125% on your next two deposits, up to $2,000. Again, be sure to use the promo code YouTube150. Now enjoy the rest of the video. At cornerback, I know one of the ones we talked about on signing day was Jakeem Jackson. Any from Florida who committed and signed with Corey Raymond there. Any movement there, Shea?
Yeah, he's announced his plans to enter the portal. Now, once Monday got here, you enter your name, and it takes however long to go through. And then, Pete Nakos or whoever out there is announcing it once they confirm a player's in the portal. So I think we probably hear his name pop up officially here soon. And it all signs here for me point to Corey Raymond and LSU. This was a guy, stop me if you've heard this before, Matt, but I was talking to Charles Power, our On3 National Rankings Director, and he was thinking back on when Jackson had come through and said, this was a three-star guy who didn't have a lot of offers, but Corey had offered him at Florida, and he was kind of digging through Corey's offers at Florida and was like, well, what's up with this kid? And track multi-sport athlete who was playing both ways and ended up playing corner and went from a three-star all the way up to finish as the number 3 corner in the country. So that was a big get for Florida, and played some early. Played then 2 games this year, started the first 2 games, then got injured. And then after that, just took a red shirt as opposed to burning a year. And when he hit the portal, I think that it makes sense for LSU to say, hey, come over, play for Corey Raymond, the guy who signed with out of high school, who is certainly with Cy Alexander on his way out in need of another guy like that, right? Like somebody who is a little bit older, has SEC experience, and can bring that to the corner room.
Shea Dixon on 3, the Bengal Tiger. There's 2 other players that we know that are taking visits to LSU. One of them is a name that should be very familiar to LSU fans. It's Luke Haas, the tight end from Arkansas. He's got a lot of interest, but he'll be on LSU's campus. What can you tell us there, Shea, about the interest, mutual, however it may be, in the decision process for Haas?
Yeah, I think everybody's going to want him, but he lined up immediate visits. LSU first, then he'll be at Bama, then he'll be at Ole Miss to wrap up the week. So clearly wanting to stay in the SEC with kind of the early visits that he has planned. But he was a guy, remember, that went to Arkansas as a 4-star, big get for them, and shined right away. And then he got injured, came back this year, and it was Arkansas. They weren't very good on offense, but he led them. I think in receiving touchdowns, he put up a few hundred yards, caught a bunch of balls, and is big enough to block and be a pass catcher. So I think you can see with Mason Taylor out, and then losing guys like Markway, other guys who kind of were that blocking tight end for you, that they went wire to wire this year with Mason as that guy, and they were converting offensive linemen to help out as extra guys there. And I know Pimpton's planning to go into the portal now, so you've got Trey'Dez Green as that mismatched 6'6" type guy out there still, but I think they want to add at least a couple of tight ends here, given that Mike Tyler flipped on you and you're only bringing in one true freshman in J.D. LaFleur. It only makes sense that they don't add one, but they try to add at least 2, given, look, you go back, Matt, to the beginning of this, how much Brian Kelly, we thought, wanted to run this multiple tight end offense, and his history with tight ends speaks for itself, and now 3 years of Mason Taylor, and he's LSU's all-time leader in catches and receiving yards by a tight end, passing up Richard Dixon. So you would think it's an easy pitch, right? Like, hey, look, that's the success that the tight end position's had under Kelly, and now it's wide open to LSU for that kind of prototypical inline tight end position.
Yeah, playing time available. They feature the tight end, and they have money to spend. It seems like, come on down. Who's ready to take this bag of cash and come play tight end at LSU? What about Will Helt? It's the edge from Purdue, who's also going to be taking a visit. And those are the 3, Shea, you tell me if I'm wrong, but those are the 3 that I know of that are planning visits. Haas, Poyser, and Will Helt from Purdue.
Yeah, and they're talking now as guys officially enter the portal. So you see reports of guys planning to enter, but until they're in, you can't have contact with them. But once they're in, they start lining up visits. And he's one of the more sought after defensive ends, edge rushers right now that's out there. And I think that beyond even, Gabe Relaford, who, they were confident and played this year, I think you still want to bring in a guy that's got experience. And even more than that, I won't be surprised if they took a couple of D-line, D-end edge rusher types because, Matt, were we going crazy when Braden Swinson signed out of Oregon and was a guy that was a 3-star out of Georgia? And they're like, hey, look, you got some upside, but he hadn't played a ton. And, well, he sure did shine in year 2 for him, even if it wasn't right away, played as a backup in year 1. So they'll chase the big guys like this, but I also think we'll see them go after some guys who, may not have the same stats as others, but can at least bring competition and depth to a couple of positions where they kind of really need it.
Shea, any other player or position right now that's top of mind that's worth mentioning?
I still think that the first name that might pop, or at least it seems like they've been heavily kind of favored with out of the gates, was Barian Brown at Kentucky, who has had kind of an up and down. He was great with Levis, and then they weren't that good throwing it this year, and his numbers dipped, but he had everybody on him the second that he entered the portal. And I don't know if he's already kind of lined up a visit or is swinging through town or however that's going to play out. But from talking to Pete Nakos at On3 and then just other people around the recruitment, it seems like that could be the first wide receiver domino to drop if it goes LSU's way. So a very productive SEC receiver who's faced SEC defenses is the kind of additions you want here when you're looking to take multiple guys at wideout.
It is worth mentioning that Pete Nakos, who Shea mentioned there, is projecting in his prediction for Barian Brown to land at LSU. So one person's opinion, but it's a very respected and informed opinion, so we'll see how that may all play out. Shea Dixon, On3, the Bengal Tiger. Shea, as you start to look forward through this cycle, I want to talk about numbers because we do this every Tuesday, and you were pretty consistent. They want to sign somewhere north of 25 high school players and somewhere in that 7 to 10 range in the portal. Have any of those numbers changed post-signing day when the Tigers landed on 23 signees?
Yeah, well, I think even if had they been at 25 or 6 or 7, that the number of transfers that they take would eclipse 10. And I think that will happen. Look, we're on day 2 of the portal window, but we've already run through the roster basically and said at some positions they might need 2 guys. So I think that when Brian Kelly talked about being aggressive, it wasn't just, hey, we're going after guys we think that will be starters or who will certainly compete to start, but also a bigger number than it was a year ago. I think it was 7, something in that range. But also the past 2 cycles, they've lost, 21 players to the portal, 18, and you're at 14 now, kind of inching closer to 15. So that number probably hits 20 again. So it probably will just depend on how the roster balances out. A reminder, the SEC is still on 85 men's scholarship kind of rules, or at least how they're going to follow it into the offseason, and not the 105 that a lot of people in the NCAA is going to allow. And I don't think teams like LSU would fill a full 105, but they're still going to try to be around that 85 number is the point I'm getting at. So I think you'll sort of have to do the math here as we see who goes pro, who transfers, and then certainly who they try to bring in over these next few weeks. And all of that will probably be decided in between now and the 28th when the portal closes.
Shea Dixon, On3, the Bengal Tiger. You'll give him a follow there on Twitter, X, at Shea Dixon. Make sure you follow all the news there, On3, the Bengal Tiger. Shea, we appreciate it, man. Thanks as always.
No problem, Matt. Thanks.
Thanks so much for watching the video. Do us a favor, subscribe to the channel, smash that like button, hit the bell so you're notified when we post a new video, and remember to support BetUS, where right now you can get a 150% bonus on your first deposit and a 125% bonus on your next 2 deposits up to $2,000. Be sure to use that promo code YouTube150.